listening to United We Scan podcast. The views and opinions expressed are not that of the United States Postal Service or the National Rural Letter Carriers Association. If you are in need of assistance pertaining to the rural craft, please contact your local steward or assigned district representative. Thank you.
Welcome to episode 2. How are you guys doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing well. Sat around all day watching football, so I can go to bed early and have at it tomorrow.
I'm doing pretty well myself until the realization that I actually have to go back to work tomorrow kicked in a little bit ago.
I'm loving life. I go in every day. I cause consternation and stress, and I laugh at them when they say, "Can you help one another out?" And then I just throw their rules back in their face and say, "No, can do." And they go, "Yeah, you're not being very nice." I said, "I never was."
Yeah.
You know, Bill, we didn't need to know about your constipation.
I mean, folks, yeah, I'm not the one that made these rules. You are. I have to live by them. I have to work by them. And guess what? I'm by the book, especially when the book works in my favor.
Yep. I was just telling someone the other day, I'm like, I know the rules to their game, and I know how to use their rules for their game against them, and they don't like that.
In my situation,
well, knowledge is knowledge is power. Power controls the money, and that's why the national board has been sitting there for years, just laughing at us as the craft. That's why I'm going to get those hats made up saying, "We the craft are pissed off." I'll start putting them on Facebook to sell.
And my situation got even a little bit more interesting because this past Monday, our other RCA quit. So that leaves me, myself, and I. Luckily, my office is not as big as your guys's. Thank goodness at this point. But that still leaves me covering all 6 routes and the aux route on a nearly daily basis.
But now you're the senior sub too.
I have been September. I've been the senior sub since September when the last one went regular. But you're
really senior now.
Yeah, really senior now.
Hey, I could argue that she's a junior sub right now, Bill.
That's a technicality.
I know. Semantics. I know. I'm just saying we could make that argument.
Yeah. Well, you would argue that, with the devil that the hell is hot, but that's beside the point. I mean, it's pretty sad. I see more offices having problems than offices that are well off.
I do know of an office that is just over 50 miles away. She's our state chaplain. She's also secretary treasurer of our local county unit. Her office actually has a full complement of RCAs now. I am jealous.
Yeah.
Because it's me, myself, and I. And it's not like we have anybody we can borrow. The office just, 15 miles south of us has no subs. There's nobody that we can even borrow to help out. So I'm about ready to say, all right, we need to start training the CCA over there on some of these rural routes because I'm getting pretty desperate at the moment. But he's been talking about maybe switching over to the rural side because I think he sees where the hours are now is on the rural side and not so much the city side when you've got 2 full and 1 auxiliary city route with 2 full-time carriers, a PTF and a CCA. So
yeah,
our newest sub, he says, "I need to get hours." I says, "Don't worry." I says, "Say goodbye to your family because you're not going to see them until after January 1st.
Yep.
And he started laughing, and I says, "What's so funny?"
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "You're serious?" And I said, "Oh yeah, dead serious." I mean, you know, I've been working 6, 7 days since September, since we came back from the convention.
I've been working nearly 6 days a week for since probably April, when it was just myself and the other sub. After our one left, I do wish her safe travels if she listens. They are moving across the country this weekend, so. But, you know, and then he went regular. Why, the day I was coming home from convention, he officially went full time. And that bumped me up. And, we had one other sub that hired on this summer, and he's the one that just left. So, yeah, it's, I'll have 8 years income in a couple weeks. And it's one of those Christmases I was like, this is payback from last year when my daughter came down with COVID at Thanksgiving time, and they made me quarantine for 14 days, so I got to sit at home during the beginning of Christmas overtime. So I kind of guess this is payback. And then the other one is careful what you wish for, because when you have that one particular person who really is not a team player and can't hold their own, and you're still having to clean up after them, and you're thinking, I might as well just do this job myself. Well, now I am. So it's my situation.
Yeah, we have a nice route where this young lady has some family issues, has failed to call EAP. She's got a letter of warning for her attendance already. She got a letter of warning for screaming at the postmaster on the floor. And she took Wednesday off because Thursday's her drop day, and then turned around, came in Friday, took out took out all the mail, brought half of it back, and then called out Saturday. And I'm sitting there going, and I have to defend her. What do I say? She's a lazy, inconsiderate bitch. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, there's not much I can do, Oh, she has family issues. Yeah, I've been telling her for a month and a half to get a hold of EAP. Get something on paper showing that you're having issues, and it's like having FMLA, but for emotional or family issues. At least get some documentation down so I can fight for you.
Oh yeah,
Right.
Exactly. I tell my coworkers all the time, I can't do this for you. If you want something to change, I need stuff. I need something in black and white. I need proof in order to back it up.
Or like my non-union member going, I think I'm owed hours for being over 2080. I said, really? I said, why don't you get the form so you can track your hours? He says, how do you get that? I said, go on the union webpage. Bill, I'm not a union member. I said, sucks, doesn't it? Of course, I gave it to him, but, I made him wait a couple days. Because I'm like that.
Yeah.
You want the benefits of membership and not pay your dues? Fine,
Oh, I
sweat
get
it
it.
out.
I get it. I really do.
I mean, we're like a welfare state. We have to support everybody else, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
There's actually a labor ruling saying that we have to provide information to the members who are represented by us, because they have to live under the same terms of the contract that's negotiated for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, oh, hell no.
But it's not readily available for them to get.
Well, that's a shame that they can't get it. But I mean, like I said, it's like being in a welfare state. You're paying for the people not working. Same thing here. We're providing information for the people who don't aren't members.
Mm-hmm.
How can they figure that they're in 2080 issues if the year just started over?
I know, for last year.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Oh, well. Okay.
I was gonna say they try to give you protections too, but how good is that after a couple weeks?
Oh, they've already tried that in another office, and I got a phone call about it, and I said, I said, just laugh at them. No, I can't do that. Why can't you laugh at them?
2 weeks ago, I saw someone posted on Facebook that their postmaster supervisor, someone said that let them know that they were 20, having 2080 issues. I'm like, how?
Yeah.
How could you have already? You got to wait until at least, I would say, February before you can start getting a true representation of what your hours are, projected hours. And even then, that's still early.
Oh yeah, I think it's quite a bit early. I
Well,
don't think you get a true.
The problem of it is that these people are getting nudged from above, and the people above have no idea what they're talking about. So, they're lemmings. They're being told what to do, and they're doing it without even understanding why. I mean,
Right.
I got 4 supervisors have no idea what our contract is,
My
and
postmaster.
they turn around and say, they tell you, well, I was told from above. Who? The postmaster. I got a postmaster. Who told you this? Well, I got it from district. Who? If you got it from district, you had to get it in writing or an email or something like that. I want to know who. Well, I can't tell you.
And we have every right to put a request in for a
Mm-hmm.
copy of that email. And
Exactly.
it's like my postmaster trying to pull out the contract the other day. And she's like, right here. I said, no, that's not the new updated one because it hasn't been printed and bound and released to us yet. I said, I have my printed copy from the union, which I let my supervisor borrow because she wanted something to read, to learn, and educate herself. And I let her know I did want it back. But I said, here, I have a copy right here. Let me explain to you what it says. But don't try and tell me you're pulling out an expired contract and this is what it says when we have a new and updated one, especially for that section of leave that you're wanting to discuss.
I like the part where they sit there and say, well, this is what it means. No, that's not what it means. It's what it says. It's not what you think it means. It says what it says. It's in black and white. There's no ambiguity in regards to what it's actually saying. Don't interpret it. It's in English already. Don't make up a new meaning for the words.
So weren't they supposed to come out with the RCAM? And that has yet to be released.
Yeah.
I have yet to receive anything
They've
about
been-
the RCAM.
Yeah, I saw something on in the Rex thing for it the other day, and it's like, wow, they're still working on it. But, you gonna have that done before the Rex study's done?
Right.
Yeah. You want to bet on it? I mean, I'll put 100 on there. Those are a long shot. Very long shot.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, you were talking about discussing the Christmas overtime and second trips. And the first thing, somebody said to me was, well, how do we get paid for second trips during Christmas overtime? I said, by the hour.
Yep. So,
And they said, well, how do you record it on your 4240? Well, how do I know if I'm getting paid for it? Well, photocopy your timesheet, you dumbass. I mean, the first thing I told this new kid on Saturday morning, I called him up Friday night at his house and told him, you be there Saturday morning. First thing Saturday morning, I told him, you make sure that you keep track of every hour you get that you work. Your green card, whether you sign a 4240, I said, every day write it down. Get into the habit of writing it down every day. I says, because invariably it will disappear one day and your hours will be short. I said, so let's prevent it before it even starts.
Yep. All right, and that's going to bring us to the hot topic tonight of Christmas overtime. Since this starts, this coming Saturday, December 3rd, ending on the 23rd, Christmas overtime. So what does that mean? Well, for RCAs like myself, it's business as usual unless you're covering an aux route. You're not going to get paid the evaluation. You're going to get paid straight time for running the aux route. Other than that, for RCAs, it's business as usual for the most part. For regulars, this is where things change. Bill, I'll let you explain the Christmas overtime for regulars.
Christmas overtime, you get paid for every hour that you work, period. The problem is, from the beginning of the guarantee period in October, what was that, October 7th or 9th?
8th.
8th? See, I was close.
You were.
From October 8th until December 2nd, all the hours that you have worked is put into a formula based on your routes evaluation. So when they put this formula together, they come up with a number that isn't actually time and a half, folks. You are getting paid a percentage based on the amount of hours you went over your evaluation. It's a confusing formula, and it's even harder to find, but that's how you're paid. I remember the first time it happened to me, and I questioned why I'm not getting time and a half when it was easy to take my hourly rate and multiply it times 1.5 and was coming out short of that amount. That's the catch. Another catch that we have in our contract that allows them to adjust our overtime rate based on the hours from the beginning of the overtime or the guarantee period on October 8th. So, if you haven't maintained your hours, and most of us haven't, don't look for time and a half. Look for like time and a quarter, because that's what's closer to be like. Otherwise, you're going to get paid overtime for every hour at your rate that you've earned, all the way up to December 23rd. And then on December 24th, you go back to the normal system. If you're on, your drop day, you'll be getting paid for the overtime and on your routes evaluation, and that's it. If it's your regular drop day, if it's your regular work day, J day or whatever, however some people call it, you're going to be paid at your standard evaluation.
Also,
and yeah, the kicker about it is that if you're working your drop day, you're getting paid for your overtime on your evaluation, and that's it. Not for any hours over and above that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it does not. It's not included into that. Also,
Correct.
second trips. If you as a regular only. Now, if you're an RCA, you still get paid second trips separately. However, if you are a regular, you do not get paid additionally for second trips. It's computed into your hours for the week. The only thing additional you would get is if you are a POV route, you would get that additional EMA for those second trip miles.
For anything over 40 miles.
Yes.
Because you're automatically paid a minimum of 40 miles for EMA.
Yeah, if your daily total miles go over 40, yes. Our one POV route's 93 miles. Most of the POV routes I've ever ran have been, in excess of 50 plus miles. So I haven't really dealt with a POV route under 40 miles, other than my aux route. So.
Right. Well, you got to keep in mind, where I'm at is a lot more urban,
yeah.
And most of the routes are averaging 25 miles, somewhere between 20 and 30 on average, for the route miles. There's a few that are less than that, and there's a few that are more than that, but so there are some that are, that are less.
But yeah, that pretty much sums up the Christmas overtime period. I know we had a couple questions. What constitutes as a second trip? This came in from a friend of ours. In fact, I think I ended up on a phone call with him and one of our hosts here. Basically, what's constituting as a second trip? That's actually outlined in the F21. Am I correct, Bill?
Yes. You're in there. You got it.
Yeah. which I have, and I was going to pull it up, and I didn't right away. My F21. You know, I used to have this one right on the home page of my phone. If that counts as how sad I am, is it's not right there anymore, yet I have the matrix guideline, the P603, the contract, and a few other things right there. I think I even have a copy of the M38 on a home screen too. But my F21, basically your second trip, F21, time and attendance, right here. Second trips. An additional trip is when management authorizes, requires a carrier to make deliveries after returning from their standard street duties. This is then it tells you a 3-digit field in the roll certificates when they're filling stuff out. The carriers, regular and leave replacements, will be compensated at 2 minutes per mile for each mile involved in the additional trips. The compensation factor for leave replacements is valid when a leave replacement is compensated based on the evaluation of the regular or auxiliary route served, and when actual work hours do not exceed 40 hours per week. So that is correct. RCAs, if your time goes over 40 hours per week and you have a second trip in there, you're going to get paid the straight time. Carriers authorized complete second trip. Carriers required to travel 10 miles to make in 8 minutes to load the vehicle. The regular is 38 miles per day. That's just given the computation. Basically, it's anything that they require you to go out for, whether it's packages that couldn't fit the first time out, or it's misthrows or stuff that came in late that they're required to get out, or stuff that doesn't get taken out when it was supposed to by auxiliary systems, and you come back and there's a gurney of packages sitting there. Yes, that will be a second trip.
Wow, sounds like the carriers are getting screwed over again.
Yes. Let's have management come up and say, please leave this hour, 2 hours, whatever it was, to get you back, and I'll take that out. Yet then they turn around and give it to a CCA to take out, and you come back from running your route, and there's a whole gurney of packages that didn't get taken out for that section. Yeah, that was the scenario that was being questioned. Yeah.
Or they come up with the one that, well, look, you can't take these out and deliver them, so just take them off the property and scan them as access denied. And you sit there and say, request denied. I'm not falsifying the data.
Mm-mm.
They have a fit over that one. They want to falsify them. They can falsify them.
Yeah, no, we
won't.
Ours will not do.
We won't do it.
I know my management won't fall to that one at all. We had one of those little foreign packets, the old little Wish mail packets that got scanned in. The international code it was a sleeper in a case, and it was going on 7 o'clock. And she's like, "I'll take it out." And she took it out to deliver it instead of just scanning it, return to validate address or return to post office for address or whatever to stop the clock, no access. Nope, it went out.
That return for address verification does not stop the clock.
It did on our end for stuff.
I like the one where they turn around and they have the integrity scan.
Uh-huh.
And I've got two copies of those where they were received after 6 p.m. On different days. And then I got copies of the dispatch log from the dock showing there was no trucks there at that time.
Nice.
Yeah.
So when they want to talk integrity scan, I'm going to say, what integrity? You have none. That was the funniest thing when I heard that. The first time I heard integrity scan, I says, what, they go out and buy some?
So what is...
Amazon probably delivered it. What is what?
What is your guys' ideas of ways, and I know I think our biggest issue was retaining RCAs anymore, or even hiring them. Number one is pay and management. Do you agree with me on that?
I'd have to say retaining the RCAs is difficult enough, but the problem of retaining them is linked to the piss poor management that we have.
Yes, I think that is the biggest one. In my experience, especially with the amount of RCAs I've seen go through my office in the last couple years, I guess when I transferred in, I already had 3.5, almost 4 years under my belt when I transferred into this office. So, and I'd already dealt with a couple different managers. So it was a little different, and I'd already been a union steward in my former office as well. So I had that run in for me. But when you get somebody new and off the streets, and I'm not, not necessarily even the young kids. I mean, we've had the last 3 people that we had hired on and the last 3 that resigned were all in the mid-40s to I'm going to say their older one was around 60. Retired school teacher. I mean, he worked one day and brought his resignation in the next day, mainly because of the way management talked to him. The other one is like, I just don't think this job is for me, which I get. This job is not for everybody.
Right.
I completely, and this is not somebody who didn't work hard for a living. I mean, he was a hard worker, and me and the regular.
If I remember, this is the one you were saying it was doing really good.
He had great potential. I mean, he not afraid of hard work, but I think a lot of it, not necessarily the management end of it, but I think a lot of it was the multitasking while you're trying to drive down the road.
Right.
The scanner, I know, aggravated him so much. Of course, they aggravate us too. But, when you're trying to go to scan something and it's not scanning, or it's wanting to escape out and asking if you want to log off, changing screens on you, that was really kind of aggravating him a bit. I see those things, and then the other one, this couldn't handle heavy days. Never found his groove. Again, just I don't think is the type of person that was cut out for this job. We had even gave the offer of some more training, and he didn't want it. So, but it's becoming a crisis across the country, and we all know this. We all, all of our offices of everybody on here we're suffering in one way or another, and it's due to lack of relief carriers.
I think part of it also is the length of time for onboarding.
Oh, definitely.
They need to restructure the hiring process to streamline it a lot faster.
They need to bring it back to get rid of this fast track hiring. Fast track hiring is not fast track hiring by any means. Bring it back down to the individual property level or the individual office level.
Your vocals are bad. Very bad.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. This guy, Andrew Auer, we just brought on Saturday. I first met him on September 14th. And he just got through his training last week and, started working as of Saturday. 2 months. It took over 2 months to hire somebody.
Yep.
That makes no sense.
But we've known that for a long time. It's
Well, I know at my state convention, they were talking about that there was a new process they were looking into, that it was actually legal at that point to see if they could potentially switch to that system, which would make it a lot faster onboarding people from the time that they apply and are deemed a valid candidate.
Well, they streamlined our system in PA. It's the Delaware PA2 district
Yeah.
because they're not doing drug screening anymore. It still took 2 months to hire somebody, but they're not doing the drug screening anymore.
They're only
That's why we
doing
got this pothead there.
they're only doing the drug testing. I know in my district for carriers, the ones that are driving vehicles. Clerks aren't doing it. That's the
Yeah.
only one. And they weren't doing.
Well,
But they just brought back the drug testing for the carriers.
Well, I know for a while they weren't doing background checks for new hires.
Oh, that I know they're doing.
well, hell, they hired me, so that proves it. Yeah.
Well, I know they're doing the background checks because we had one that got his offer rescinded after his background check came back.
Wonder how bad it would have to have been to get his offer rescinded.
I don't know the details, but let's just say I'm not surprised.
I just like I've been saying for a while, I wish they would take down the big banner outside our office that says "Heroes Work Here" and just replace it with a "We're Hiring" sign.
Well, it's funny because we never had a full complement for the last 4 years as far as subs are concerned.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a core group of five subs that could handle any situation. They could take 3 routes, split it up, take care of it, address every situation on their own without management. And what they don't realize is that we don't need management. They need us.
Right.
Day in and day out, we can do our jobs and get them done without management. They can't do jack shit without us. But when I got this kid Andrew Egan his job back for after an EP for sexual harassment, when the ADR settled for his job with no back pay, he walked away. He had already had a job somewhere else and said, I'll stay there. I'm not putting up with the post office. A month and a half later, one of our senior subs turned around and left us to work at the prison. It was better working at the prison than it was at the post office. Mm-hmm. And then, one day a kid came back and he had a hamper and a half of parcels. He said, "You've got to take these out." He says, "No, I don't. I quit." I mean, the whole atmosphere at work just adds to the whole situation where these people say, it's not worth it.
You've got regular carriers walking off the job because it's just not worth it anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, from the time I was hired up until probably about 4 years or so ago, we've always had 65 to 75% complement. Subs to regular, to routes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if we have 25 to 30%, I'll be shocked. I don't know how many RCAs we actually have in the city, but it's definitely not enough. We have what? Out of 200 and something routes, we're a Formula office. Only less than 80 of them are allowed to have Saturday off.
We have a full office that is not allowed to have any day off.
And it's just not small town issues.
You know what I'm saying, though.
But Josh, you're Charlotte, North Carolina. I mean, that's a huge city. That's not like the small town issues like I have in my little town of
right.
My tiny little town. It's not, Mike's in a bigger city. Bill's not in a small town either. So it's spread amongst all demographics.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, I was just looking at the numbers. I mean, when I transferred to this office, the office I work at now, we always seem, up until recently, we always seem to be around about 50%. Like when I got there, we had 42 routes and 21 RCAs. Right now, we're up to 50 routes and we have 14 RCAs, so we're down to about 28%, less than 30% coverage. and they just went through. We just went through another round of carriers losing their Saturday K days because we don't have enough RCAs or leave replacements to cover them.
Right.
So we're down to, I think we're down to like just 9 people who can have Saturday off, something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got 18 routes and nobody's getting off.
Well, we're not even talking about being able to get off. We're just saying, what your K relief drop day is. Because no one's they've had up for almost a year now on our swinging doors out to the to where the vehicles are. All carriers are mandated to work. This includes rural on your R5 and R3 days.
Oh, they're not even giving us R3s. They're just paying R5s right off the bat. Yeah.
And
that's basically
I think our supervisor was trying to get that in through the heads of a couple carriers in my office of, especially during Christmas time in the next few weeks, being that we have one RCA now who also has also has the aux route, is why can't we have two Monday K days, 2 Saturday K days, and then we have our J's. And our one Saturday K day, she gets hers. And the Mondays now are going to have to rotate. But, why can't we for the next few weeks have all hands on deck on Mondays? So I could run my aux route, and then I can also run auxiliary assistance on Mondays to help out, because our office is not allowing us to come in on Sundays to run parcels. God help me tomorrow morning, because I'm running 2 routes.
It's at the point now where they can't redo the formula, because that would put us to where would be more non-Saturday relief days on any one particular day of the week than Saturday, which is not contractual.
Well, all I know is that we can't redo the formula because the fact that there's nobody to put in their formula. Yeah, they're paying us the R5s because they can't give us the damn X day during the overtime period, the Christmas period, because folks, guess what? There's nobody there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So they're just paying us the money. I mean, it's such a sad situation, and I don't see, like I said, it took 2 months from this guy to get hired. And are you kidding me? Would have loved to have him a month ago.
Well, here's my
drag their feet on this shit.
Yeah, and here's my scenario too. I mean, it's not even just getting people to apply and get hired on. It's retaining them. And I'm looking at going regular at the end of next summer. What's going to happen then if we don't get anybody in the door to stay?
With this new guy, I told him, I said, you can use him to run parcels. I said, but he's not getting on any other route. And I says, because if he does, I'll tell him to walk out. I said, I'll walk out with him. I said, I'm tired of this. I said, this shit is why we have nobody, because you keep bouncing them around. You don't let them get familiar with the scanners, with the procedures, and everything else that we do here. You just want to chew them up like they're damn dog meat. And I says, and you can't keep doing that. This is why we don't have but, one PTF and one sub right now. And the sub's got the whole 2 days experience under his belt. And the city carriers, they had 11 guys retired this year early just to get out of the fucking office.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're laying down 22 routes per day.
How many city?
I got city carriers walking. I got city carriers walking by going, "Hey, Bill, you're going to get mail today." Oh, that's nice.
How many city routes you have in your office, Bill?
68.
Wow. Not used to that. See, both offices I've worked in, had only 2 full and 1 auxiliary. Even my first office that had 16, well, now it has 17 routes, and they actually just went formula this past summer because they can't keep anybody, and when I started, we had a full complement. But, yeah, there's only 3 city routes in that office. There's only 3 city routes in my office. And we, like I said, we've got 2 city and an auxiliary, yet we have 2 full-time city carriers, 1 PTF, and 1 CCA. So the PTF is learning how to be a 204B. And we pick on him when he comes out to have a smoke. We're like, hey, the Poom's here. He's nicknamed the Poom in training now.
We had a supervisor come out with their little, vaping pen the other day, and we told her, sorry, this is the craft area. You're down the other end.
Wow.
Hey, I'm not just nicknamed the Big A. I earned it.
Yeah.
We know. I never question that one from you, Bill.
Well, we had a pre-Thanksgiving, smorgasbord on Wednesday.
Uh-huh.
People brought all kinds of food in.
Oh, we're not
pies,
allowed. We're not allowed to do that anymore.
And the postmaster come over. He says, "Is this food for anybody?" I said, "Nah, it's for working people. Get away from it."
Yeah, our postmaster doesn't allow us to do that anymore. She's very anti anybody having any type of fun at work.
No, well, that's a great atmosphere to be in.
Oh, I know.
No fun zone.
Yeah, it really, with her there, is the no fun zone. Yeah, but it's been, I will say I've had quite the satisfaction the last couple days of her lips are being super glued to my rear end right now, being that I'm the only RCA, and when I have to run a full route, I'm running my aux route as well. So she has been giving me partial assistance herself. So I'm making sure she gets her work in when needed. Mm-hmm.
It's we're at a tipping point right now. We really are.
Yeah, we are.
And I don't know what the solution is besides just bodies and getting rid of the management. Our management is so piss poor. I had a supervisor. She's I'm not going to say stupid. She's just dumb. And I wanted her to sign a grievance as being submitted as timely, and she's like, "Well, I don't want to put my name on this." I said, "You're not. You're just initialing that it was timely." And she goes, "But I don't want to be associated with this." I says, "It's your job." And she goes, "No, I can't sign this." I said, "And you wonder what's wrong with this fucking place?" I said, "People like you don't even know what the hell you're doing." Mm-hmm. And I walked in. She can't talk to me like that. And I turned around and snapped at her. And I told her, I says, "I'll talk any way I want to you." I says, "Because somebody as stupid as you shouldn't be sitting in that fucking chair."
Well, and that's where we get.
Well, that's when you just write, management refused to sign 3A.
Yep.
And our ODR said if they refuse to sign it, if they refuse to sign and date it, it makes they can't say it's untimely.
Yep. No, and I got it damn dot stamp too, circle stamp on there, and said, there you go. And I had the clerk initial it with the date stamp on there too. But that's the type of people that are managing the post office, guys. How scary is that?
Well, I put in 2-3 weeks ago. At this point, I put in for Tuesday, Wednesday of this week. The supervisor fumbled around the desk for a moment. I don't even think it was a full minute. Said, "I can't find the calendar to see if there's availability," and marked it denied. I said, "How can you, if you can't see if there's availability to approve it, how can you deny it?"
Right.
Nor did she reach out to any other station within the city to see if there's availability for coverage. or any offices within the area to see
Yep.
if they had someone to cover, which is the contention I put in my statement when I sent it up to my rep. And my rep was there last Wednesday, and he's sitting there waiting while he's waiting to talk to someone. He interviewed her and asked her the same questions, and then asked her if she reached out to anyone. She said, "I didn't know I was supposed to check at other stations." There were two of the stations that he reached out to, asking them for their leave calendars, their schedule. Actually sent him the stuff. Two of the stations had at least one RCA each that could have come and carried my route Tuesday and Wednesday.
By the way, did you follow the order of consideration, which tells you that you call around to the other offices?
Yeah, but if he's
what's the order of consideration?
And that's where you're dealing with how many stations are underneath your one main. That's all considered one office.
It's like 9 or 10 that have rural routes in them.
So
I think there's like 15. There's 15 stations total. 2 or 3 are just PO box and retail, and it's like 9, I think, to have rural routes. So yeah, she should have reached out to all, and it sent an email to all the rurals saying, "Is there do you have an RCA available?"
Well, yeah, because you're still technically one big office. You're just in different stations. Yeah, multiple buildings basically across the city.
Right, where it's not RMPOs, because it's all one office.
Yep.
Postmaster, actually, his office is on the second floor of the plant. He's not in an actual delivery unit.
Well, it's like our office. We've got 26 offices with rural carriers within 25 miles of us, and they don't call nobody. They don't check for nothing, no how, no way. And I'm just sitting there like, this is not how you run a post office, folks. But, then again, a lot of the supervisors in my office don't even talk to each other, let alone somebody at another office.
Right, exactly.
It'd be unheard of if they picked up a phone and asked, for help. Customer says to me, "Bill, I can't get through to anybody at the post office to complain about the mail." I said, "Well, don't do that. Call Chrissy Houlihan's number. She's a congresswoman here." And they says, "Yeah. Why?" I said, "Because she'll come over here and start shit." I says, "But they have the phone silenced in our office, so nobody picks them up unless you go through the 800 number." This was one of my customers. It was somebody who's visiting, and they know me, so they asked me, what do you do?" I said, "The best thing to do is call your congresswoman."
Yeah, well, in my office, they have the phones, the ringers turned off, but they actually have the display so they can see when it rings. But it has a caller ID, so they know if it's the same customer calling over and over again, and just not answer it.
Yeah, I mean, in our office, I know how much we spend on IT as the post office. But boy, I'm tired of hearing, "We don't have internet. We don't have it. We can't print the holes. We can't print the premium forwards. We don't have internet." I'll get my son over here to hook it up for you, okay?
Yeah, so they
what the
just
hell is wrong? You don't have internet.
Yeah, they just upgraded ours this past summer. But the computers
and if you don't have internet, you
fucking outdated.
If you're in our office, if you don't have internet, you can't open the retail window. How about that, folks?
Oh yeah, it's
it's being run by a bunch of idiots with DeJoy trying to get rid of these extra 50,000 positions, and people are going into jobs We have people from operations going into HR department, and they're calling the postmaster to find out how to post a job.
Oh.
Yeah. How freaking sad is that?
Yeah,
That's-
this is I don't see where anything is going to get better. I mean, and we had just all had our general wage increases, but that's nothing to even think about. I mean, RCAs are still only at $19.94 an hour. You want to keep people, you can go.
1950.
No,
1950.
it just went up to $19.94 as of the 19th of November.
Yeah, but it didn't kick in yet on the paycheck, did it?
It will be in.
Or did it kick in on this paycheck?
It'll be on the paycheck that we're currently in.
Right.
So we're currently on the new pay period of when it just started.
Right.
So, yeah, we haven't even seen it yet. But still, I mean, when you can still go into almost anywhere making $15 to $20 an hour and not having to deal with the issues that we have to deal with. Yeah. With the bullshit. And, I mean, if I didn't have so much time invested in, I wouldn't be staying. You know, and my time doesn't even count towards anything right now, even.
We have a supervisor that comes to us to ask how to break up a route. What route is near what route? You know, just go away. Just go find a fucking corner and we'll take care of it. Because, you know, like I said, management needs us. We don't need management. If we took a couple carriers from, you know, each side of the aisle and just, you know, told management to stay home, we could run the place better.
Oh, completely.
Period.
We don't need management in that office to tell us how to do our jobs. And I'm not going to say my supervisor never did the job. She actually started as an RCA. Then she went to clerk craft, and then she went to city side, and then she was city carrier before she took over supervisor. But she was 204B city carrier. She gets it, you know. She wants to learn. She goes, if I'm doing something wrong, please tell me, please show me, you know. That way I can correct it and get it done properly for, you know. And so her and I worked together really well that way. My postmaster on the other side, started as a clerk in the same office, then moved up to supervisor, and now she's the postmaster in the same office she started in. So if that tells you anything.
I can't make any comments or judgments because I'm biased in regards to the management in my office, and it's completely founded in reality. It's not a prejudice or anything like that. It's just the plain fucking truth, and it's sad. I mean, these people. If you have 3 open routes on the rural carrier side, okay, and we do everything to get the parcels out and all that, and you got one route that's backed up with 32 feet of mail, instead of sitting on your asses and letting us hear you laugh and giggle when we come back at 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, how come you're not in the case of throwing the mail?
Oh, see, I don't have that issue.
Why aren't you? You know, why don't you have the gumption to get the hell up off your fat ass and do something? I mean, you know, it's as plain and simple as that. If you want us to work as a team, then you have to participate. Okay.
That exactly. Yes.
I got RD21s next to me. Aldo has 4 days of DPS and FSS sitting there. When he comes back Wednesday, he'll have 6 days. And they've done nothing about it. When I offered to go in on Thanksgiving morning and run his DPS for 3 days, right? You can't. You'll go over 60 hours. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Yeah, I'll go over 60 hours. I won't come in then. And then when this guy comes back, he's going to get 4 full days of relief for free.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because that's the grievance I'm filing.
Well,
4 full days.
are they making you guys up there spell out what was left and using the formula?
Nope.
Okay.
Because when mail is left, it has to be at the direction of the supervisor, and they're supposed to tag it.
Mm-hmm.
We're not authorized to delay any mail whatsoever.
Like, for example, when I came back from being off for a while, and I have all the mail sitting there from all the days I was gone. They're like, because I would just set my stopwatch and say, "This is how long it took me to clean up." They're like, "No, you can't do that. We have to put down. All right, it was 4 tubs of mail. It was three trays of DPS, a tray of raw, and spell it out." And they use the formula to calculate how long it should have taken. I think for the one when I was going in June for the week for my state convention, I had 187 minutes, and based off of pulling the end of run reports for that week and calculating everything, the ADR came up with 243 minutes. I'm like, okay.
We'll go with that.
Exactly. I'm like,
No, we don't even do. I've got the postmaster to the point where what I do is I turn around and say, okay, the parcels went and the mail stayed. Ergo, I want 6 hours for each day because you took 2 hours of work off the carrier.
right.
And if the route's 8.8, I want 6.8 hours.
Okay.
And I get no argument over it at all.
Yep. Seems fair.
Last Tuesday I had 15 pay adjustments approved. One girl, she's getting a little over $1,100. I still fighting with them because nobody in HR can go back to December last year when she came off the hold down and give me the number of the sick days and annual leave that she accrued because they can't find it.
Ooh.
I said, what do you mean you can't find it? It's in the system. They said, yeah, but we're not familiar with the system. Okay, what are you doing in HR?
Yeah, but can't they
Isn't
pull
that
what her
payroll?
hours were based off of?
Well, they'd have to be able to figure that out, Josh.
Mm,
You know?
Oh my God.
sorry, I apologize. I was starting to use logic there.
Yeah.
Logic? No. Post office is too good for logic. What are you talking about? That makes sense.
I think I'd advocate at this point for just the post office to outsource either HR or outsource our payroll.
Payroll. Yeah.
At least payroll. Because I'm sure a company like ADP or Paychex could figure it out.
Well,
And I don't think they would have. I don't think they would have a problem keeping their software and computer systems up to date.
Yeah,
Well, it's up to date like the post office, remember?
yeah. That's
We've
why
known for years they couldn't do it,
That's why it took 4 months to actually get a pay increase in place. But how long are we waiting for that back pay?
Still.
And and RCAs are waiting on that agreed amount in lieu of annual for those first 2 pay periods that they couldn't get it situated after having 6 months to figure it out. And then it just magically appears after 2 more weeks or 2 more pay periods. Really?
It's amazing, We've known for years their computers were, outdated. And and what have you done to push all this stuff forward? Nothing.
Nothing.
It's like crying wolf. You can cry wolf all day long, but if you don't do anything, guess what, folks?
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Pay schedules. Yeah, the 19th is when that went into effect.
Yep. Beginning of this pay period.
Yep.
Yeah, and the beginning of the next pay period starts Christmas OT.
It doesn't even matter. I get up in the morning, I get dressed, I go to work, I come home, I eat, I do my homework, and then I go to bed. I get up in the morning, I get dressed, go to work,
Yeah.
Come home,
rinse and repeat the next day. I hear you. I was into overtime Friday by the time I left the office to, go to the routes. I say plural anymore, routes. And, the week prior to that, I had gotten that one Friday off out of the sake of having the MOU that allows other carriers to volunteer to assist on other routes. And my primary for my 5-in-1, he said he didn't get Amazon in that day because, like I said, our Amazon contractor is messed up. And he's like, I will go ahead and take the aux route for you today so you can have a day off. I said, absolutely, thank you. Because when I asked her Thursday evening when I got back from running my routes, how many hours I had, we looked it up, and I was already at 48.2 hours on Thursday. So, yeah, it's getting to be insane.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, and, and Christmas is just right around the corner. It's how... I'm willing to work that 7th day on Sundays to lighten the load on Mondays just for the sheer fact that I know I have to run 2 routes on Mondays. But nope, let's not do that because that makes sense. And
this is how bad it is in Westchester. Out of the 68 city routes that we have, okay, and they normally lay down approximately 14 a day. It's up to 22 right now. But out of the 47 carriers they have, 39 of them are over $100,000 this year.
Yeah.
15 are over $140,000.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That's amazing. The one carrier they actually, Chris, the only reason he won't make over 150,000 this year is they suspended him for a month for delaying mail last Christmas. But he'll still break $100,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
we got a 75-year-old clerk who's been in the post office for 54 years, and this guy works every bit of overtime they offer, which is funny because he's there, but he doesn't work. He makes over $100,000 a year, and he's a civil service.
Yep.
His retirement tag down in the corner is $96,000 a year.
Nice. Nice.
I said, what the hell are you doing working? Oh, I have a big family to support. Shut the hell up.
Dude, you're civil service. You're of age to collect full Social Security. And your civil service pension, dude. You could be living just fine and dandy at home.
Jesus. Home. He could live anywhere with that kind of money,
No shit.
And that doesn't count if he decided to do any TSP.
Well, the funny thing about it is that, if he retires, nobody will miss his work.
Mm-hmm.
he once took a break, and this is no lie. And I go in the bathroom. He's in the bathroom. He's combing his hair. Well, he doesn't have enough hair to comb. and he comes out of the bathroom after I come out, and the supervisor says, hey, Zeus, where have you been? He says, I was in the bathroom. He said, what are you doing? He says, combing my hair. The supervisor's taller than he is. He looks down. He goes, what hair? because he has no hair on the top of his head. But he was in there for 20 minutes.
Well, you know, sometimes
Great management.
things
Great
take time.
You see, like with us in my station, we have a clerk who is in her low to mid 70s. She's probably close to 40 years on the job, but she's the only one that's worth a crap in our building. And she's getting ready to go now. She does, you know, where the last 7 years she's worked 6 days through. You know, her relief day is Saturday. Her non-sched is Saturday. The last couple months, she hasn't been coming in on Saturdays. She's burning time left and right now. So it's just a matter of time before she actually goes. And we're going to be hurting when that happens because, like I said, she's the only one that actually gets any work done of the clerks.
Well, it's like we have one clerk that knows the scheme for both zip codes in our office. And when she gets a day off, we don't get any mail, okay, any clerk mail. Yep. The following day, we get hammered, you know, because she comes in 3 hours earlier. They try to catch up on her, you know, and they go, well, you know, you have 42 feet of mail to go through today. Huh? What?
Yeah.
You know, just send it to the plant, okay?
Right. Well, Jen, she's the only scheme clerk we have in the building. She only knows the one zone, even though we have 3 zones in there now. They just give the PSC the little finger thing, the little finger scanner with the laptop, and they just scan the barcode on the letters. And if they don't know it, they put it off to the side till they're done, and then they go and look at the actual scheme and figure it out.
Yeah, it's a shame. I mean, we used to have this guy Eddie. He used to do the throw parcels, and this guy threw parcels, you know, not using the machine, okay, from knowing every route in the office, and that's back when we had 102 city routes and 22 rural routes, and he would throw parcels knowing where each one went.
Oh yeah, I've seen clerks do that. And that's the one thing my postmaster, you know, being a clerk in that office for so long, if she has to help toss parcels, she can toss some parcels. I'll give the woman that credit, though. She can toss the parcels. But these 2 newer PSCs that we have for our 2 RMPO offices, you know, the one will still have the finger scanner on telling you where it goes, but it still ends up in the wrong bin.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
And it's
that's why they work at the post office, not in the NBA.
Right.
And hit the right basket.
There's a difference because Route 7's is right in front of you, and Route 2's is at the end of the row. So tell me how 2's ends up in 7's. I mean, I get City 6 and Rural 6. You know, they're on the opposite sides, but come on now.
Well, what was the one I got a package in my hamper the other week. Massapequa, Massachusetts, or something like that. But it was rural Route 22.
Yep.
So they said on Bill's hamper.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I've seen those too.
Well, I told you last week I had a package that went to rural Route 60 in Waukesha, Wisconsin.
Yeah. Like, what are you kidding me?
Finally handing it to the supervisor and said, "Can you get this to go to Waukesha? This is the 4th time I've thrown it."
Well, I like when they do that, and you give it to them and say it's the 4th time. They say, "How do you know?" You turn it over, and I mark the package on the back each time it comes back to me.
Yep.
Yeah. Or I routinely get stuff in my cage. I'm rural Route 60. I routinely get things for City 16, Rural 16. Sometimes I get stuff for Rural 50, which I don't understand, other than if they're just looking at the number, 5060. Those bother me. I don't mind the cages that are around mine, like, roll 58 is right next to mine, and he always pulls his parcels late. So if his cage is overflowing and it bumps into mine, it doesn't bother me. And then they're trying to get to roll 68, which is behind. My cage sits in front of there, so if they throw roll 68 short, it'll end up in mine. And then I have the same problem with 69 being next to my cage. So sometimes if her cage is overflowing or they just miss, those are the ones I expect. But when you're looking at it, okay, roll 60, I see something for Shannon Street. I said, well, that's either 50 or 16 because I don't have Shannon Street on mine. So.
Right. Well, we have in one of the other zones, I'm on Royal 53, there's a City 53, but in one of the other zones, and in that zone, their gurneys are not near where my gurney is. Like, they're completely separate areas. Like, they're near, but they're not together. Mm-hmm. And he, at least 2-3 times a week, he'll be like, "Hey, I got packages for you," which means that they're coming in and being sorted to the wrong zone in the first place.
Like I said, they spend $1 billion a year on IT and they can't get it right.
I have seen
it was funny. The last regular I was a sub for, shortly after we got the pass machine, he'd be like, if only they had a system, a machine that could tell them what route it was supposed to go to, or they could write the route, or they could write the route number on the package itself. Oh wait, they do, and they still screw it up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that takes effort, okay? I mean, you're downplaying the amount of effort they put into misthrowing.
Well, I
apologize, logic.
Don't all stop at once.
I look at hamperfuls of missent parcels that come from the plant to us.
Yeah.
I mean,
how do you do that?
Right? I mean, I'll be going through my tubs of route sorted raw flats, and it's just like, okay, not me, 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 not me. Yeah, it's crazy. Sometimes I have to look at the label on the tub, like, okay, is this supposed to be for this route, or did this send this whole city somewhere else?
Yeah, my favorite is when I get something that's like coming from Arizona for Wisconsin,
mm-hmm.
and I get it in my dispatch tub.
Yeah.
It's like, one, how did it even get here? Two, did the machine just say, that's close enough?
I've had a piece of mail that...
You know what I mean?
I've had a piece of mail that I keep throwing in the missense and blocking out the barcodes that's supposed to go to California, and it still keeps coming back to Route 11, because I've handled this piece 3 times, and I looked at it, and I finally just chalked it in the ubum, because that's what it was anyways.
Yeah, I have a shit fit with the electronic address request, service requested. And you put it in there, it comes back, put it in there, it comes back, put it in there, it comes back with the yellow sticker this time. And it's like, folks, I can't do anything more with this. It's mm-hmm. going into the yellow tub. The hell with you. Like, I'm done with you.
Yep.
It's like, for all that we do, for all the mechanisms that are in place to make the post office efficient, it fights itself. It really does.
Yeah.
And it fights us. And it's like, are you kidding me? I mean, You can't be that stupid, and the machines can't be that stupid. I mean, they're computers. They don't know any different. But God, why does this shit just happen day in and day out, all year long?
But just remember, Bill, the computer's only as smart as the man that programmed it.
Oh, yeah, you mean like the rural carrier specialist that put 42 houses on the end of a route that was already a 46K, and 3 other carriers go right by them.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to go 3.5 miles off the end of this route to service the damn things.
I'll see that.
You can't make adjustments now because of the mini mail survey and all that bullshit.
I'll see that and raise you a girl that's already in the high 60 or low 70 standard hours, and they added a whole new subdivision because it had to go somewhere.
Okay, I'll raise you a K48 that's getting a new development that includes 712 deliveries.
Holy shit, that's a whole nother route in itself.
Yes, it is.
That could be a whole nother K48 in itself right there.
Yes, it can be. Because it's 17 miles to get to the first stop.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Well, I would say unbelievable, but I've worked for the post office long enough to know that it's believable.
It's believable, yeah.
You can't make this shit up, people.
You can't. You cannot.
You can't.
Common sense and common courtesy stop at the door.
Yes, it does. Well, on that note, guys, we're going to wrap it up for tonight. And we'll come back next week. So, any final words, Mike?
No, just remember it. Be safe out there. I'm sure we'll touch on it. But just be safe. Don't let it's only mail. It's only parcels. Don't let it stress you out. Good.
Josh.
Yes. Speaking of, like you said, don't let yourself get stressed out. If you feel yourself getting overwhelmed, take a step back, take a deep breath, and step back in there. Be safe, especially with it getting darker earlier. I know here at 4:30 it was already dusk.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
So yeah, just be safe, aware of your surroundings. And try and have a good week.
Bill, what's your last thoughts, dear?
Well, like I always say, don't get stressed, cause it. It's a great pastime. But realize, folks, that there are things out of our control that you can't do anything about. There is no need to sit there and worry about them. Get like I said, get stressed out about it. Do what you can do it well, and the most important delivery of the day is you. So you keep yourself safe. You get home to your loved ones, and the job will be there tomorrow. No matter how much or how little you do, it'll still be there tomorrow. And whether you show up or not, the post office will be there tomorrow. So take care of yourself and get your ass home to your loved ones, because that's the most important delivery of the day.
Yes, I agree.
And let's go Eagles!
I do want to go a shout out for my Michigan Wolverines, who happened to kick the ass of Ohio State Saturday. I unfortunately didn't get to see the game, but go blue. But yes, on that note, following up with Bill, you are the most important delivery. A little quote that a friend of mine had posted on Facebook earlier today. It says, "Leaving your home and returning safely is such an underrated blessing." That's right where we're at. She posts, "For all my PO peeps, We know this to be true. Please pay attention to those working on the sides of the roads, bringing your cyber deals to homes across the nation. We are not part of the scenery. We have family and pets who depend on us, and we need to get home safely every night, too. So that's a shout out to Tasha. I love you, dear. And on that note, people, like I said, each day is a new day. I'm dreading tomorrow morning, but you know what? I'm going to go in, tackle those 2 routes, get home after dark, go sit in my hot tub, go to bed, get up the next morning, do it all over again. So, on that note, everybody, take it easy, stay safe, and we will talk at you later.